Asara B'Tevet. I'll do some words of Rav Nissim again about Sinat Hinam. So many times groups of Am Yisrael, the entire Am Yisrael, or some people in Am Yisrael, we get a smack from HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Something happens in our life and we don't understand the meaning, and then we say Oy va'avoy, Hashem Yishmor, and then afterwards we go back to normal, go back to regular. We had COVID, we had October 7, we have a lot of things that happen to us, and over time we say Oy va'avoy, Gewalt, and we go back to business as usual. And Chas Shalom, we let the tragedy go to waste. We didn't learn what we were supposed to learn, and we become indifferent, become numb. We become like Chas Shalom. The slap that was supposed to wake us up didn't wake us up. And he says that Chas Shalom, what this leads to is a bigger slap. Hashem says, "Oh, this didn't do anything, so now I have to do even harder to get your attention." Chas Shalom. So therefore, these days of Asara B'Tevet and the fast days, we hopefully slap ourselves. We fast a little bit, we hurt a little bit. No bagels in the morning, hurts. And we're supposed to take from this, I give Hashem my attention and I change. And you could ask, what does that have to do with us? Every year the temple's not built. It's because it would have been built, it would have been destroyed again. The building is not a building. The building is a physical representation of the spiritual building, the spiritual level Jewish people are on. And as long as we don't fix our spiritual building, the physical building won't come. And even if we build the physical building, it would get taken away, just like the previous ones were. So therefore, we don't have to say, oh, well, what materials are we going to use and where are we going to fund the money from. That's not our issue right now. Our issue is, do we fix it internally? Do we have the materials internally in our soul? Did we fix that in order to deserve to have the physical building? And therefore, we know the temple was destroyed because of Sinat Hinam, and the sages tell us that Sinat Hinam is equal to the 3 cardinal sins. The first temple was destroyed because of immorality, idolatry, and murder, and the second temple was destroyed, and we're in the longer galut, and it's equal to being destroyed as the first temple, meaning the reason for the second temple was Sinat Hinam, basis hatred. It's equivalent to the first temple's sins of destroying it because of the 3 cardinal sins. So therefore, the Rambam writes in the laws of fasts, he writes like this in Halacha 3. He says, and if they do not, lo yizakuv lo yariu ala tzarot she'eru lahem, if a person doesn't cry, he doesn't make a big deal out of the tzarot that we went through, and we have to go and change, he doesn't take the message of the tragedy that happens and changes. Elo yomru davar zeh miminhag haolam. Rather, the person says, yeah, this is the way the world works. Sometimes there's fires, sometimes there's sicknesses, sometimes there's tragedies, there's war. It's part of life. That's what it is. You just deal with it and you continue going. You don't have to change yourself. So it says, the Rambam, zeh derech achzariyut. This is a cruelty you're doing to yourself. V'tosifa tzara tzarot achirot. This is a surefire way of bringing upon yourself more damage, more tzarot, and on more tragedies. On this, the Torah says, "Va'alachtem imi bekeri." On this, the Torah says, this is called going with Hashem bekeri, going with Hashem indifferently, going with Hashem very callously, very uncaring way. The way Hashem talks to us today is with what happens to us. And if you don't care what happens to you, you don't get Hashem's message. Hashem says that's called alachtem bekeri. And who comes when you go bekeri? Amalek. And the worst of the worst, Chas Shalom, comes when you do bekeri. So therefore, a person has to look and be sensitive to the words of Hashem and the deeds that He does to us, in order that Chas Shalom we shouldn't get more and worse. Chas Shalom. Now, when there was a Churban Bayit Sheni, Churban Bayit Rishon, millions of Jews died. A lot of Jewish blood was spilled. We had to be exiled. The Jews lost respect in the world. We lost a lot of holiness, a lot of bracha in our lives. And we have to realize that we have to change that. Now, what is Sinat Hinam? Sinat Hinam, we always translate it as baseless hatred. Baseless hatred means you hate a guy for no reason. Obviously, nobody hates nobody for no reason. People hate each other, rather the translation is, people hate each other for a reason that's not good enough. It's not good enough a reason to hate this guy. Oh, this guy He looked at me and didn't will hold the door open for me when I was passing by. Oh, I hate him. This guy didn't want to do the favor I asked him. Oh, that's it, I hate him. For this reason, you should hate a fellow Jew. This is the reason you should break up Am Yisrael. So therefore, and look at this. The Gemara says, Mikdash Sheni shayu oskin b'Torah mitzvot gimilut chasadim mipnei macharav. The Gemara says, we don't understand. The second temple, they were learning Torah. They were religious. They were doing mitzvot. They were doing chesed with each other. They had chesed organizations. And still it was destroyed. And they didn't have idolatry, and they didn't have murder, and they didn't have immorality, and still Hashem destroyed. Why? To tell us that having derech eretz, and learning how to not be super sensitive for every single little thing, and learning how to make up with people. And yes, the Rambam says somebody did something that bothers you, you have to speak to them. You tell them, you did something that bothers me, let's reconcile. Let's go and make peace. No, I don't want to make peace. No, I got offended. I'm going to yell back at him and I'm going to go and offend him also. Oh, I'm lazy, you're also lazy. Oh, all these things, even if you're learning Torah, even if you're doing mitzvot, that does not suffice in order to deserve having a perfected level of having the Beit HaMikdash and having Hashem amongst us. Sometimes people can jump. They can become very religious and say, oh, I do daf yomi, I pray nets, I go to mikvah. Basic derech eretz, basic ability to talk to his wife, talk to his friends, be a member in a shul, deal with difficult people at work. Basics of having derech eretz, we cannot do. He cannot do. He cannot call himself a religious person. He cannot call himself a generation that deserves the Beit HaMikdash. If Beit HaMikdash would come and we don't have derech eretz, it will be destroyed also. So therefore, it is of utmost importance. A person thinks it's important to get up for nets. It's important to go to learn. It's important to give tzedakah. It's important to say a bracha. It's important to say Birkat Hamazon. It's important, just as important, to be able to have peace with another person. It be easy to forgive. Be difficult to get angered. And in order to be able to see others and make peace, ohev shalom, rodef shalom, to love peace and to chase peace. And therefore he says that through this, on the fast day, we internalize this, we bring upon ourselves so small suffering, Bezat Hashem won't be a bigger suffering. But if you don't, you just take the fast day and say, what time is it over? You take the fast day and you try to kill the day and try to just get it as fast as I can through it. So in Chas Shalom, you're tapping into Elachta Imi Bekeri. You're trying to be indifferent towards Hashem, and Hashem says, now I have to bring a bigger suffering. Chas Shalom. We should zocheh, that we should know that the Zohar writes that even if one Knesset, one group of one keilah will do teshuvah and love each other and have real shalom, 10 people, one minyan, bizchudat the geulah should come already, says the Zohar. The Arizal, he told the students, he made them sign a contract that whoever learns in our group has to promise never to fight with anybody in this group. And they all did something they didn't understand. What do you mean? Why would we fight with each other? We're all learning Torah, we're all holy people, we're all Kabbalists. He says, no, be careful. Watch, it's going to be Asara. And he made them sign, he made them agree. And he was teaching them, or Rav Chaim Vital. And then there was a small argument between two of the students. And they fell, and they argued, and they were yelling at each other, whatever it was. And Rizal said, that's it, you guys broke the contract. From Shamayim, they decided, I have to pass away now. There's a decree that I don't have the zuchut to teach you guys anymore. You don't have the zuchut anymore. So for them, the Arizal was like such a high level connection, such a source of Torah. It was like as if the Geula was coming. And what? And we don't know if the Mashiach would have came in that generation, but they ruined it. They broke it. Why? Because that one small group couldn't make peace. And all of us, let us take all over ourselves. If we have a Knesset, Bet Knesset, we have a home, we have a job, we have friends. Let us take upon ourselves not to be that guy, to break the peace and to Chas Shalom. You don't know what decree could come out of this. It could be the Geulah is waiting, all based because you held your mouth and you were easy to forgive. Baruch Nayolam.